Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Colts. He talks to the media like the media know football. And the media, they appreciate that. Interesting always to hear the thoughts of Gus Bradley. He's got a young defense, and he talks about the young defense this week. Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Quitty Paye, these young guys. Also talks about the leadership being provided by DeForest Buckner. Interesting stuff. And this is kind of the side of the ball that's got to win the game on Sunday, because that offense for the Cleveland Browns, it ain't great. It isn't what the defense is. The defense is not going to allow you a lot of yardage. They're going to turn you over a little bit on downs. They're going to get the punt unit on the field unless you catch them on the right week. The defense has got to be able to go get the ball and go get points from that Browns offense. We'll see if the Colts are able to do that.
Yeah, I think, we really like both those corners, the style of play. We know they're going to be aggressive. They're both long, tall, fast, and they play with their length. And, they're aggressive at the line of scrimmage. And, we saw some good things from them. And, to be able to bounce back and come back and make a big play like that in the game was huge for us. So, I think we all took turns in that game making some mistakes, including myself. So, but overall, I think the body of work, we really like what we're seeing.
Nate?
Yeah, you got Quitty Paye back this week. Just curious, what do you kind of notice right away that he brings you guys when he's out there that maybe you don't get, when you have to play without him?
Yeah, he's a guy that there's complete trust with our group. When he's out there, he plays extremely hard. He's physical, does a great job setting the edge. He can give us rush, so he's just, one of those really good players that when he's on the field, you just got better as a defense.
And just to follow up, is there an area that you noticed that he's better at this year than last year?
I think he's just more comfortable what we're asking him to do. I think it's not like it was a complete change from his system, but playing on the edge a little bit more. And I think, we're all after that more aggressive front. And I think he's really bought into that and is playing really aggressive on the perimeter, both run and pass.
Joel?
You mentioned that you made some mistakes. What did you feel like you could have done differently?
Well, I think that, just there's sometimes, I think we were anticipating a run a couple times. And, on third down, there was a third and 5 or a 3rd and 6. And they had a tendency to run the ball. When they got across the 50, they became a little bit more conservative. And we played more of a run style of defense. And they threw a quick out on us. And, I think they got the first down by a little bit. I think, plays like that, could have been a little bit more aggressive in those situations, just guessed wrong. I think it was more of a 3rd and 4 call. And I think it was more like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. So things like that. You look back and, we didn't play that 3rd and 10, the red zone right. A lot of people did. We didn't cover it the way it was intended to be, but we were aggressive the play before, and maybe should have came back and could have been more aggressive.
When you have a game where you guys didn't give up many yards or yards per play, how did you look at the way the defense played overall? Because it felt like maybe the score didn't reflect what you guys did.
Right. I think, it's still a points game, statistics and things like that, but it still comes down to the points. And, the way we started again, where, we had a couple false starts, neutral zone infractions. We didn't play, we busted on a coverage. I just didn't think we were in tune. Buck and Z did a great job calling the group together on the sideline and just said, hey, let's get back to what we do things right. And I think it settled us down a little bit, but still far too many points, regardless of the situation. And I know, like you said, the stats maybe showed that, didn't reflect the score. And, but it's still a points game, and we got to do a better job keeping the points down and getting takeaways for our offense in a game like that.
Evan?
Gus, what more do you need to see from Nick Cross to earn a role within your defense?
It's a great question. We had a couple dime calls up on third down, and we just didn't get to them. But we obviously see it like you do. Like, hey, he's doing some good things. So trying to get him on the field, maybe in a limited role, like on third down, I think we continue to talk about that, because a guy that works as hard as he's working in practice and doing things right, we got to try to find even a limited role for him, just to show him that we notice his play.
Raven.
I played 51 snaps on Sunday. How encouraging was it to see him play as much and have a pretty productive game, especially after missing last week and dealing with kind of limited snaps at this point?
Are you talking about Shaq?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Shaq probably, his movement and change of direction, more involved in making plays, so we saw a good step on his part. He's back to being that, that emotional player for us and on the sidelines. So, I think he's, continues. Like I told you before, I think we're looking at this big picture for him. So it was a good step for him in the right direction.
Nate.
Hey, you mentioned Buckner's leadership, and I'm just wondering, specific to the guys kind of to his left and right, younger players, like whether it's Quitty or Dio, where do you see that kind of play out with them? How does he sort of make those players around him better?
Well, I think he's always been seen as a strong presence. I know Nate feels extremely fortunate to have him in the D-line room, just because of his experience, his mindset, both him and Grove, and how they do things. But Buck is also a guy that can extend it through the team. His conversations with the linebackers, the DBs, he's so respected by the whole group that it was cool to see him, talk to the whole group about what we need to do. So he does that. It's not out there publicly, probably, because, he does it at practice. But he definitely has that part of him. And he's one of those guys, when he talks, he's got the eyes and ears of everybody.
Two more. Joel.
Hey, Gus, what have you seen from both safeties so far this season?
I think at strong safety, we're kind of positioning Julian to be around the ball a lot. He's got multiple opportunities. He's a guy that I think you can put a lot on his plate. He's doing some really good things for us. He's taken away a couple of explosive plays. Sometimes teams will change a strength motion to get a matchup on a safety, but he's got the speed that it's not a glaring weakness for us. And so a guy that can play in the box, play on a speed receiver. Yeah, I think he's playing very well for us. He might have missed a couple things, a misfit just because of it was a new play. But there was also 3 or 4 unscouted looks that he did a great job in limiting an explosive play from happening. So very pleased with him. Rodney, he's not getting many opportunities. He's kind of that guy back there that you have complete trust. And the free safety spot is sometimes you don't think about that spot until you need it. And then he's got to come through. So I think he's doing a good job for us, but I think we're going to ask more out of him. I think some of these plays, like the touchdown run where they had a wildcat and it kind of got out in the perimeter, those types of plays we need him to make. And we need him to, give us another chance at, make the tackle and, give us an inch and we'll protect it type mentality. So he's just got to continue to grow in that area.
Last question, James.
Gus, when it comes to the linebacker splits and how much playing time each guy gets, obviously EJ has been playing pretty well. Shaq comes back, he gets more of the snaps than EJ. So how do you, as a defensive staff, kind of break down, okay, who gets what and when and how, if that makes sense, when EJ was playing pretty well, obviously?
It's a great, part on your behalf of looking at. It is a challenge because EJ is playing extremely well for us. And he's doing a lot of good things. So we try to get him in there, obviously, in base situations. So it depends on, the team that we're playing. And then, his role of being out there on third down, in some 2-minute situations. So we keep looking at how we can expand his role. Because, when EJ's out there, he's makes big plays for us, just like he did on the short yardage play again. So it is a challenge, though. You'd like to try to find a way to get them both on the field.
So that's Gus Bradley. Interesting to hear what he has to say about Shaquille Leonard and about EJ Speed. It's clear to the naked eye that EJ Speed is just a little bit quicker to the ball than Darius Leonard, and quicker in coverage and all of that. I'll bet there are some spirited discussions within the Colts offices, defensively, offensively, and in the front office, about Shaquille Leonard's ability to contribute to this team long term, and whether or not playing him into shape, playing him into an ability to affect games is kind of a short-term kind of fix or a long-term strategy that's going to work. Interesting stuff with the Colts.